Welcome, everybody, to We Geek Podcast. Today is March 28th. My name is Adam, joined by my good friend Logan.
Hello.
And, I wanted to apologize about last week. That was entirely my fault. I had some last-minute things pop up. But in the meantime, I was able to catch up on a lot of stuff that you've seen so that I can actually talk about them.
Nice.
Yeah. So, every once in a while, it's good to have just a little 1 week to be like, okay, I can catch up. So, but yeah, man. So how's the last few weeks been for you?
Same old, same old.
Yeah.
Getting ready to buckle down over at the theater. It's
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're coming up on it. I keep having this discussion at over there about like they're expecting big numbers this week for Ready Player One, and I just don't see it.
The reviews are good, man.
I've seen what I've seen are mixed.
No, I don't know. I've seen good. Mixed to me is a lot of bad reviews.
Okay. Well, then let me rephrase that. I've seen good and okay.
Right. I'm not seeing any, I'm not saying it's at like 94% Rotten Tomatoes or anything like that. But, the people I trust, like I listened to Jeremy Johns, and he was just head over heels for it. I think, yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying. You know what? I see so many people being snarky about it.
Yeah, and that's,
That's what I see. I see people going, oh, this is a lot of pulp culture references shoved into one. I don't want to see that. Blah, blah. And it's the same people who are excited for Smash Brothers and Kingdom Hearts 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm glad that I read the book before people decided they didn't like it. I don't get that. Every review that I've seen, the people that I follow, I guess, really liked it. They said it was a good movie. Basically the thing I was hearing over and over again was, this is classic Spielberg. A lot of the people that reviewed it that didn't read the book said it was better than they expected. Because I think there is that mentality going in, that stigma that some people have, I guess, that I've been seeing, is that because they see all these pop culture references, they think that's what the film is relying on to be entertaining. But there's actual good story in there. It's a fun story. I don't know. I have faith in him, but I am curious to see how it does. I know a lot of my friends who never read the book are excited to see it. That's the difference. A lot of my friends that I know in real life are like, hey, that looks cool, and it's Spielberg. A lot of people on the internet that I've never met are the ones that are, have an entire opinion about it, and they've never read the book, and they don't know anything about it except for the trailers, So I don't know. I am curious how that does.
I am too, and I want to put a number on this. I think I think high end it does 50 million this weekend, and I think that's high. I'm expecting 35, 40. But I would like to see it do better. I want it to be as big as they're expecting. Like they're gearing up because they scheduled for Black Panther kind of the way they scheduled for Thor. Mm-hmm. This is, it's getting some good talk. We're probably going to be busy. Good many people are going to come see it. And then, of course, just got hammered.
Right.
And nobody was expecting that. So it kind of, they looked at Ready Player One the same way. Like the projections were not high, but everybody's talking about, it got good buzz out of South by Southwest and everything. And I don't know. I want it to be good. I want it to kick our asses. Because I want it to be that busy and have that many people come out, because they're going to need to for it to make money, because this thing cost a boatload.
Oh, yeah.
But the best thing was, because when we put up the posters down by our big format theater, they're bus shelter posters. So
Oh, okay.
they're huge.
Right.
And I was helping our staff leader change them out, and I was like, "Are we?" And he popped open that case, and I went, "Are we putting Ready Player One in here?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was like grabbing for the tube, and I'm like, "Okay, hang on, gotta be careful, because I hope this is the second poster, because we have the first one where everybody made the joke about the leg and everything,
Right.
and like I didn't, because it was kind of rolled the way it was rolled, you couldn't tell, and then like I just kind of unrolled it and kind of almost just completely ruined my pants because it was a huge version of that second poster, and it
Oh,
looks
nice.
amazing. Oh, it's so awesome, and not just to see like as a poster, but it's the same thought I had because the Last Jedi bus shelter poster we put up was the character one sheet for Rey, and I was like, oh well, that's really cool. But then when you see it on like a 6 foot poster, you're just
Right.
kind of like, damn.
Right. Exactly.
And that's what I was thinking with this poster. I was like, this is ridiculous. This is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. Uh, that's a poster you definitely want to get. See if you can
It'll be, dude.
wrangle it.
It'll be gone.
It'll be gone.
I
Yeah.
have no doubt in my mind.
But yeah, man, I think I'll do pretty good. I think that if you're a nerd and you're going to the movies this weekend, that's the one you're going to be seeing. But it's hard to tell because you see things like Pacific Rim Uprising, and it does okay, but it doesn't do like crazy numbers. But it's not a comic book movie where this is not a video game movie, but and maybe that's, I guess, for the best, but it's based off of like that's its core demographic, it seems like.
Right. That's the thing. Like, we are the target market.
Right.
And arguably the generation before us. Like,
Right.
like us and Gen X are
Well,
definitely the.
man, I have to say the trailers did not, to me, did not scream 80s. The music did, and I know it did because I read the book.
That's true. Those are good points.
I have to, like, if it was way more 80 references in the trailers, I could totally see, someone a little bit older being like, oh, okay, I get it. I feel like that generation, if they didn't read the book, they're just told that by somebody. Like, oh, this is all about, like, the 80s and stuff. I think word of mouth would be pretty good with it, just because word of mouth was pretty good with it coming out. It's no one's expecting. I don't think this is going to obviously anywhere near Avengers or Black Panther or any of that kind of numbers or buzz, but I think it'll have its legs for a few weeks. What's the next big one that comes out?
Avengers.
Avengers. Okay,
In 4 weeks. But
in 4 weeks. So
well, and there's but I don't think Ready Player One holds, because next week is what is next week? Blockers is going to be your big one next week.
yeah.
I think it's Blockers. And then the 13th is Rampage, the 20th is Super Troopers, and then Avengers. Now, the 20th is going to be a doldrums kind of week. Like
Right.
Super Troopers, and I think there's one or two others that come out that week that are not going to draw big numbers.
Did Rampage jump a week?
It did. It did.
Okay.
It moved up to the yeah, it had been the 20th, but they bumped it to the 13th.
I'm glad that was kind of crowded.
Yeah, to kind of get it away from Avengers, they wanted to give it 2 weeks.
Right.
And I
God
think
of War comes out that day. You got Super Troopers. There's a little too much
there's a lot
going on 420. Yeah.
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 And I loved somebody because when we were talking about that at work when it came up, like, oh yeah, they moved like the week, because it was like the day after they moved Avengers up a week. Like everything, like almost everything on 420, everything from the 27th moved up a week, and then everything
Right.
from the 20th moved up a week except Super Troopers. And we all had a good laugh about that. Like, do you think that there's no way that movie was ever going to change dates? No way.
Right. Yeah. No. That it's best on that day. The
Yeah.
only way they would do that is if Avengers picked that day to come out.
Even then, even then.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
guess,
sure.
but man, that would just be murder.
Yeah.
But
it
then
would.
again, we saw Jumanji do great when it came out with Star Wars, right?
Well, I mean, goddamn, Jumanji is still in our theater.
Yeah.
15, what are we on, 15, 16 weeks? It's insane. It's
Oh, yeah.
absolutely insane. And it's still in like 1,000 screens.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what's nuts. It's not like how The Last Jedi is still on like 100 and some. Hell, even Coco's on like 140 some screens
Oh
in
really?
its entirety domestically. There's still
Mm.
all those places. But I mean, Jumanji's still on 1,000 screens. There are some movies that are fairly decent budget that don't open on 1,000 screens.
Right.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah. Well, I imagine it gets a lot of people in later on as well because it's a kids movie as well. And I don't mean like kids. Well, I shouldn't say kids movie. It's a family movie. Like it's
Yeah.
something that you could go to the dollar store. A lot of my friends with kids, they don't go opening week. They don't go to the big movie theaters. They wait till they have to pay $1.50, and then they take the whole bunch of their kids. I know tons of people who do that. So I imagine it's just getting, it's just banking at those places.
Yeah, and we still have every once in a while we'll have like 10 people show up to a screening, which
Hmm.
is enough. I mean, we don't draw those kind of numbers. Like Death Wish didn't draw those numbers. We don't have Red Sparrow anymore, but it didn't draw. Red Sparrow tanked. Like
Hmm.
it did not perform at
Yeah.
all. Um, but I mean, it's just it keeps making enough money. I mean, we've had plenty of movies. We had Gringo for like a week,
Oh
and
wow.
that was it. We had Hurricane Heist for like two, I think. Um,
Oh wow.
we, but we've had Jumanji for 4 months. Go figure.
Yeah. Yeah, Giovanni just keeps on making money.
It does. I mean, it has to be if they're gonna keep it.
Yeah.
Because God knows we've had plenty of other movies come and go since then, but
Oh yeah.
nothing worth keeping.
Well, speaking of, we got Pacific Rim's numbers, right?
Yeah, let me grab my magical little number list here. Uh, yeah, just over 28 million. Definitely it's gonna wind up tanking. It's gonna
Yeah.
wind up being a bomb, which sucks. I think. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Um, it's just in a weird. But man, when Black Panther came out, it crippled the last couple months. Like
Hmm.
nothing. Like it came out and just destroyed everything,
Oh yeah.
and it's never recovered. Like everybody's gone to see Black Panther 2 3 times to the
Hmm.
point where, I mean, hell, it made 17 million this weekend in its fifth was it no sixth week, and it
Mm.
and it put it at 631 and change, which bumps it over Avengers domestic total.
Damn.
That is the highest grossing domestic Marvel movie.
Wow.
It beat
That's insane.
it beat Avengers. That's what
That's
I'm talking
crazy.
about. Like everybody was just like, "Well, what movie do you want to go see?" Well, Pacific Rim's out, Tomb Raider's out. Let's go see Black Panther again. Okay,
Hmm.
it was cool.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
we'll go do that.
And it's got word of mouth too. I still think there's people going and seeing it that never seen it before.
Sure.
That
Oh yeah.
their kids told them, their parents told, just word of mouth, and they're like, well, it's been a few weeks, the theater will be empty. So, and then they get there and it's probably like, oh wait, there's like 20 people here.
There's usually, yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Oh yeah. Pacific Rim, when I went and saw it, it was. It wasn't packed at all. I was like, oh, okay, I can go pick any seat and sit down and be fine. And yeah, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, you can love those.
Yeah, oh yeah, and it was. I mean, it was exactly what I thought it was going to be, which
Yeah.
I guess is kind of the problem. I was
Well,
never really that big on the first one to begin with.
yeah, but man, I like the second one. The second one was, I love the pacing. I love how there wasn't like
Hmm.
chunks of downtime. Like it was action, action, slight dramatic pause, action,
Hmm.
montage, action, climax. Like I mean that was
Yeah,
basically the structure of it. It was a fun popcorn movie. It wasn't
right.
deep, it wasn't thought provoking, but I mean at an hour and 45 minutes of movie time, you could do worse.
Hmm. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would recommend it to people who liked the first one. It wasn't a bad movie or anything like that. It was just I don't know. I thought it was good. Um, but like it's I don't know. I saw people loved the first one, and I never got that. I was like, I think it's okay. And just like this one, I was like, oh, that was good. That was fun. Um, I could see a lot of people waiting for this for Netflix, and that's what I think's happening.
Agreed. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely agreed.
is they're like, oh, well, that would be cool on Netflix. But yeah. So Black Panther took in, you said 17 million. What were some of the other numbers here?
Third was I Can Only Imagine with 13 million. And I'm telling you what, let me tell you a quick story. On Thursday night, we had a 7 o'clock Pacific Rim, we had a 7 o'clock Unsane, and we had a 7 o'clock whatever else premiered. I can't even remember. Midnight Sun. And then we had a 7:45 Pacific Rim, and that was in our premium theater. All four of those movies had 67 people in them combined.
Oh, wow.
We had a 6:50 I Can Only Imagine that had by itself 67 people in it.
Oh, wow.
There were as many people for one screening of I Can Only Imagine as there were for all four of those premieres.
Remind me, what's I Can Only Imagine again?
It's the song. It's the story about the guy who wrote the song. I've heard it's good. It's a very simple kind of story, but it's a big uplifting.
I've never heard the song.
Oh, you've heard the song. You just don't remember that you've heard the song. Everybody's heard the song.
I don't know. Who's it by?
Mercy Me.
Drawing a blank here.
Oh, we'll
listen to it on. We have a break.
Yeah, and as soon as it starts, you're gonna go, oh, that song that played on every single radio station for like a year.
Okay. So is the movie based off the song, or is it based off like the reality behind it?
It's the reality behind it.
Oh.
Yeah. It's the dude's story of like his life, and it led up to him writing the song and stuff.
Oh, okay. I guess it's dramatic or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Big Christian movie.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's, for the audience it wants to draw, I have heard that it's good. Like, I've heard nobody come out of there being like, I didn't like this movie, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I would give me an auditorium full of children to clean up afterwards, though. I'm telling you what, man. I just, the biggest messes, the absolute biggest messes.
Oh, I bet.
In these kinds of movies, and I don't understand why.
They're just pouring soda on their head and popcorn everywhere.
I'm telling you what, dude, there was one that looked like somebody had just hooked their popcorn bucket up to a leaf blower.
Oh, wow.
I'm not even kidding. Like, I don't even know how they made the mess they made. I really don't.
I'm waiting for the Billy Ray Cyrus Achy Breaky Heart movie to see why and how that happened.
Because it was the right song for line dancing at the right time.
Exactly. Man, do a lot of people just leave that's a pet peeve of mine, is when if I'm with somebody and they begin to leave it, I'm like, no, we're picking this up.
Yeah. Oh my God. Just not just like popcorn buckets and drinks, but if anybody got hot food, they always leave whatever container that was in. Bags of candy, sometimes not even like half full bags of candy. And I don't understand. Candy is expensive. Like, these are convenience store prices for bags of candy. So why do you leave like half a bag of
They're more expensive than convenience store, it seems. The popcorn, the candy, the drinks, it's outrageous.
It's stadium pricing. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, stadium pricing, exactly. Yeah. Oh, when I get popcorn, half the bucket will be gone at least.
Yeah.
There's a few times where it's not just because I'm feeling weird or my stomach hurts or I don't know, or I don't want to eat too much because I'm with somebody and I don't want to embarrass myself. If I'm by myself, I'm just like, I'm just a monster with it. But
yeah.
But yeah, no, I hate that. I hate when I see people do that, or if, like I said, I'm with someone and they'll kind of leave it. And I'm like, and I'll grab it. I don't say anything, but I'm like, that's weird. Why don't leave that there?
Yeah. No, and it's, oh God. Well, like with little kids, I understand parents bring their kids there and they get to make a mess they don't have to clean up. So part of me wants to cut them some slack. Part of me wants to hit them with a broom because you're being a lousy parent.
Right.
But, that's fine. But these are grown people. Like, clean up after yourself. It's ridiculous.
Right. I see Sherlock Holmes did 10 million.
Sherlock Gnomes.
Sherlock Gnomes, that's right. Tomb Raider did 10 million as well.
Yeah. And that was like nothing else that premiered Like nothing that came out this past week was in the top 5. I think the next one down was Midnight Sun at number 10 with like 4 million. And I think everything else was below that. I think Unsane was right after it. And then Isle of Dogs was way, way on down.
I want to see that one, but I don't think it was near me.
Yeah, we thought we were going to get it, but then we didn't.
Yeah.
We had the big, giant, like, cardboard standee for it.
Yeah, we did it here too.
Oh,
I went to a
man.
different theater. I didn't go to the AMC one. I went to the one in Waterford, the Regal.
Okay.
And it was just closer to where I was, and I was like, okay, I'll go here for Pacific Rim. Plus, their stadiums are pretty big for like just the walk-in, so I was like, oh, I'll definitely be able to get a seat. I saw the thing for Isle of Dog, and I paused. I was like, maybe I'll see that instead, but it wasn't showing.
But it wasn't there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That thing was creepy. Like the poster was okay, but the cardboard thing with everybody on it, like all the dogs on it, that thing freaked me out.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy.
It's seriously creepy.
I wonder if that's not a movie that you take your kids to, right?
No, my God, no.
I imagine there's a lot of parents that are tricked into that, though.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like Fantastic Mr. Fox. Like,
yeah, it's dogs and it's animated, and it's like that's just two combinations where you're gonna get kids and like their parents like, oh hey, I like dogs, you know. Does that make sense? Where
Yeah.
They're like,
oh no.
Hey, it's an animated movie and it's dogs. Dogs are cool. I imagine they'll go into it and they'll be like, oh shit.
Yeah. It's probably very not a children's movie.
Oh yeah. Right. No. Yeah. That's what I imagine. I imagine they're sitting there going like, what indie shit did I walk into?
Yeah, basically.
Like, oh my god. Like, yeah. So, yeah, it's. I have to imagine just kids walking in and out of the theater, looking at that, going, "I want to see that," you know.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, that's
cool.
It'll be. That's one that I'm definitely gonna wait till it's like at Redbox or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No doubt.
Well, I'm definitely going to be seeing Ready Player One Saturday, so that should be fun.
Yeah, I'm going Thursday. I'm like
nice.
Thursday morning. I'm going. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't work until 8 Thursday night, but like I don't care. I'll go because I want to see. I'm hyped. I'm really excited to see this.
Oh yeah, my friend who got me into it, she told me about it. I'm going with her, so it's going to be pretty cool. Be like, here's the thing you got me into.
There you go.
So that's awesome.
Yeah,
but
just the fact that this could be a movie, and I'm curious to see what changed. Like I'm not upset. I know some people are going to be some people about it. Oh, this is like it used to be. Shut up. Like it
has to change.
The only thing that bothers me is when they run a new printing of a book, and they use the film poster art for it. Because I saw it at Walmart. And it had, here's Ready Player One, and it's got the first poster on it. And
it makes sense though.
I know. I always hate that, and it doesn't matter. Like even if the poster is cool, which
I imagine Harry Potter did that. Yeah.
I don't.
No?
It never did. Because because the books all came out before the movies, and by that point.
True.
The fan base knew what it was. Like you knew what Harry Potter was. You didn't need to draw attention to it. Something like this, or I've seen the Jack Reacher movies would do that.
Lord of the Rings definitely used imagery from the movie.
Yeah.
As the artwork on it, it makes sense. I mean,
I know. I just don't.
Broader audience will be like, "Oh, that's Ready Player One. That's a book. I saw the movie. Maybe I'll read it."
I just don't like it. That's just me. I never like it, even if the poster's good. I'm like because I can't think of any example where I was like, "Oh, this is better than the cover that it had."
Right.
I can't think of one example for that.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I wish. There's this. It's one of my favorite comic book covers, and my mind's going blank right now. It's the Logan comic.
What, the Old Man Logan or just the Wolverine comic?
It's not Old Man Logan. It's the story of his origin. So I think it's just called Origin.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about? It's whenever they did Wolverine's origin.
Yeah, I think it was just. Wasn't it just called Origins Wolverine, like before, like that was where the movie got its title from?
I believe so. And essentially, yeah, it's just called Origin.
Okay, yeah.
But you're right. I think some covers say Wolverine and then Origin at the bottom. But the cover I remember was his hand, and it was the first time the bone claws are coming out.
Yeah.
And it just looked sick. I always wish they did that for a Wolverine cover. Because it just looks good. Whatever on break, look it up. It's just called Wolverine Origin cover, and it has that hand. I don't know. It just looks sick.
Yeah.
Anyway,
reminds me of the first cover, the first one of the actual Wolverine comic, where it's just him with the claws, like in that third of the side of the page.
Oh yeah.
I always think about that because that was always kind of a badass cover too.
Oh yeah. And I dig that. I like the new Justice League came out on 4K. My mom called me and she got it. She bought it. She has a 4K TV and everything. So she ended up buying it. My niece and nephew spent the night at their house and they're like, well, we'll get Justice League, I guess. And she called me and she was in love with it. She loved that movie. She's like, that movie was so good, blah, blah, blah. I was like, that's awesome. The cover of it is like Jim Lee's artwork.
Yeah, that's true. I have seen that. That's true. Yeah, that does look really good. Cool.
I love it when those steelbook cases do stuff like that, like especially the comic book movies. Like I want a Spider-Man one like that. I want the Avengers one like that, where it's the artwork. But anyway, what movie? Okay, so we already talked about what's coming out next week. It's Ready Player One. We got a Tyler Perry movie coming out.
Yeah, Acrimony. It's another one of his dramatic ones. This one's Taraji P. Henson, and Tyler Perry's dramas have not historically done tremendously.
Right.
I can't comment on the quality because I've never actually seen one, but they just don't. They're not Medea movies in terms of box office.
Right.
And I think that's going to happen again. Which kind of sucks. I like Tyler Perry.
My grandma loved his movies.
Yeah, but I haven't seen it. I doubt I'll see this one. I'd kind of like to because Taraji is a tremendous actor. So if they, but there again, I mean she was good in Proud Mary, but it was one of those cases of where the rest of the movie just didn't kind of work all that well.
Oh, okay.
Like she's good. She is tremendous. But it's kind of it's great to see her go from like one note to another in terms of she can be intense and just right in your face, and then also be like very vulnerable and emotional. Like she can bounce back and forth from that really well. We saw a lot of that on Empire, and that was kind of where she made her name. Was where people saw that and just looked and went, oh damn, we need to put her in more things, and that was a good point. But,
okay.
I don't know. I may get around to this at some point, but I doubt it. I definitely won't be watching the third God's Not Dead movie, just because there's no appeal for me.
Oh, he's still not dead. Okay.
I know, and it's coming out on Easter, which I thought,
Thank God.
I kind of thought that was sort of a spoiler, really. Like, isn't that the whole story of Easter?
Right.
I don't mean to poke fun. I just do a little bit, but hey, I think that had I Can Only Imagine not come out, this one might make more money, because I really think that people on Easter are not going to come and see this. They're going to come and see I Can Only Imagine, either for the first time or again.
Do people go to the movie theater on Easter if they are, if they're practicing faith and they're going to church and stuff? Is their next step like, hey, let's go to the movie theater?
I think if there's a good enough movie out, okay. And I think that we may have church groups come to this. We had, when I Can Only Imagine came out, we had a church group actually buy out 3 theaters to screen it in
that makes sense.
On the Wednesday before it came out.
Yeah.
And it was just, it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
But they did. They bought out 3 theaters, and that's, hey, why not? That's
right.
That's what you do. I don't see that happening. I would have seen that happening with this movie if I Can Only Imagine hadn't come out.
Too many at the same time.
Well, I mean, we had I Can Only Imagine 2 weeks ago, we had Paul, Apostle of Christ this past week, and we've got God's Not Dead this week. Like, we've never had this many Christian movies come out back to back to back like this.
Mm.
Like, usually we get one every few weeks.
Yeah.
Just get kind of like how you get one of everything else every few weeks.
Right.
But they're coming out like Marvel movies right now. Just bing, bing, bing.
That's true. They're superheroes in a sense.
Hey, look, they're not harming anything. They're uplifting films. They're, if this is your thing, go for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We already talked about Infinity War, but a new trailer released.
Yeah, I dug it.
Oh my god, it was so good.
I dug it. I liked it. I'm done. I've seen enough. I've come to that point where I'm like, I'm good. Just let me have the movie now.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm all right. I I am gonna hate it a month from now.
Oh yeah.
I'm so gonna hate it because it's gonna last. Because once it starts, then it's never gonna stop.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's all gonna snowball. It's Avengers for 3 weeks, and then Deadpool, and then Star Wars, and then it's like 2 weeks of Star Wars, and then The Incredibles, and then Jurassic World. Like, it never stops. And then Ant-Man, and then it just never stops.
Right. Well, you can dread it, you can run from it, but Destiny will still arrive.
God damn it.
Oh man, I've seen that trailer so many times.
You and me both, man. You and me both.
It's so good. It's so good. Like, I wish the Academy Awards, and I know they would never do this, but they should give an award for Best Trailer of the Year.
It's not the worst idea in the world. It's really
There's
not.
so much hard work they put into that, the editors to get, isn't it like someone's specific job?
They hire trailer houses. That's its own business. Like, making trailers is a business unto itself.
And that is a cornerstone of Hollywood. How are you going to get people in there? You make a good trailer. A trailer can make or break a film.
Oh, hell yeah, hands down.
Yeah. So someone needs it. Let's get someone in the Academy on the phone and be like, look, these Marvel trailers probably would win every year, or the ones that are really heartfelt, where it's like, oh my god, I'm crying just watching that. Man, I get goosebumps. My friends who are they're not that into comic book movies are all like, I just bought tickets. Yeah. I have goosebumps watching that.
Oh, I got mine immediately.
Yeah.
I have Friday morning, man, first show.
Yep.
I am gonna be there, and it was great because I had Stubbs rewards from like way on back in the day that I didn't even know I had. Mm-hmm. And some of it came from my Star Wars ticket because that was the last thing I didn't use MoviePass for. Mm-hmm. So between my Stubbs rewards and being a Premier member. So there was no ticket fee or anything. My ticket Friday morning for our premium theater cost me like $1.25.
There you go.
It's like, oh hell yeah!
Oh, heck yeah, that's awesome. Oh yeah,
I'm excited. I'm excited for this. I'll get more excited for it after Ready Player One because that's where all my excitement is now.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna have to take earplugs when I work that Thursday night for the Avengers premiere because I can't stand there with my fingers in both my ears humming to myself again because I looked stupid enough doing that for Star Wars, but I didn't care.
Right. They're gonna walk out. Oh my god! I can't believe that Rocket Raccoon died, or
yeah, right.
Silly. By the way, I have no idea if Rocket Raccoon kicks the bucket, but yeah, man. Oh my god, that trailer is just something else, especially towards the end where it shows Thanos and Captain America, and it's that scene from the comic, and oh my god,
yeah.
It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. Yeah. But yeah, I got my ticket too. We got some news from Captain Marvel, and there's some familiar faces that popped up. You go ahead and take this because I'm gonna butcher the last name there.
Yeah, Coulson's back.
Yeah. So they're only canon if it's pre-Avengers, essentially.
Right. Yeah. This is because Captain Marvel's going to take place. What did they say in the 90s? I think they said
90s. So I think like Marvel Studios doesn't want to acknowledge the fact that he's alive because they want his death to hold some sort of weight in the cinematic universe.
Yeah.
even though technically the TV shows are connected to them.
They are, but the Avengers don't know anything really that's going on with S.H.I.E.L.D. So.
Right. So this is a cool way for them to be like, hey, we can put them back in the movies, and it's before that event, so it's gonna be all cool.
Right. It's younger Coulson, which is gonna be strange. We
saw a younger Tony that looked great.
That's true. That's true.
I don't think it's gonna be that dramatic. But hey, we had a skinny Captain America, so they'll figure it out. All they have to do really is remove some of the wrinkles.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Clark Gregg really just has kind of like that every guy face.
Yeah, give him a wig.
Yeah. Well, or even that, like you kind of start looking like that when you're in your early 40s, and you just hold on to it. I mean, that's just it. You just get wrinklier.
With
that kind of face.
It'll be fine.
Lee Pace is back because of course Ronan the Accuser would be in this because we're going to be digging into the Kree Skrull War.
Yeah.
And his buddy Jimon Honsu is going to be back. And it was great because exactly.
You're right.
And it was great because I looked at that name and that was my thought, and then I had that exact same follow-up thought of, oh yeah, he was that guy.
Yep.
He hurt Star-Lord's feelings.
Yep. Oh yeah.
But sounds cool. That'll be neat. And I wonder if that was kind of in part because people saw him and thought, oh, that was funny. He was a neat character. Mm-hmm. And so but either way, he's coming back in Captain Marvel. That's good. I like it.
Oh, he definitely stuck out. Everyone knows the meme and everyone knows the face. And, he's an actor that's been in a lot of movies. So
that's true. Yeah.
He's one of those guys where you don't know the name, but when you see the face, you're like, oh yeah, I've seen that guy in, what was he, Blood Diamond or?
Yeah, I think that was the big one before Guardians.
Right. I remember him in a kickboxing movie. The only reason is because they filmed it here in Orlando. So when I watched the movie, I'm like, oh my God, that's right off East Colonial, and that's the Fashion Square Mall, and it's like, but it was like somewhere else in LA or something. I was like, no, that's definitely Orlando. Or wait, no, I'm sorry. It actually I think they say it takes place in Orlando. I don't know. Ignore me. But anyway, yeah. So I think this new Deadpool 2 trailer, totally redeemed the first one for me.
I want to say a word in defense of the first one, because I have seen that trailer about 8,000 times now, just in the last week.
Right.
And I'll give it this: the more you watch it, the shorter it seems like the little Deadpool playing with toys segment gets.
I guess I've seen that trailer with different people every time.
Yeah. So
it's that moment where I'm like, oh, this part is not hitting for them, and it's dragging longer because I know the scene. And does that make sense?
Yeah. No, that's fair.
I'm not seeing it by myself, so I'm like, and every time the person's like, oh, or after the trailer, they'll be like, that was weird. and it's usually that scene that they point to, why did you play with puppets for so long? But yeah. The second trailer, though, man.
The second trailer was awesome.
A lot of X-Force stuff. A lot of the jokes landed. Yeah. I kind of don't want to see anymore because these movies, they ruin all the jokes ahead of time.
Yeah. Well, and to talk about trailers for a second, another trailer that I've seen is the one for the volleyball movie. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. But it basically tells you the entire movie in the trailer. And I don't mean it does it shows, because there have been so many movies that have come out lately where they've had the last scene in the trailer. You just didn't know it until you saw the movie. Death Wish comes to mind. The shot of him making the finger gun when he's in the street. That's literally the last shot of the movie. That's the last scene. And there's a whole kettle of, I really hate that movie. But this trailer is what happens? Well, the one girl dies very tragically, so the volleyball team is down, and now they have to get inspired, and they
I've seen that.
And the other problem that I have with this trailer is that it starts off saying we have to win games for her, and then it moves to we should be playing because we're having fun, and then at the very end it's we should go out and win this for ourselves, and I'm just pick a freaking message here. I don't. And it does. It's like it tells you the entire story, especially the part where you don't even wonder if they struggle. It's like we have to win all these games just in order to get to states. Well, I don't believe it, Jim, but it looks like West High is going to states this year. Like that's
the entire movie.
That's the trailer, and you're like, you just completely blew 2/3 of this movie right there.
Right.
I'm like, why?
Right.
And I get it. I get the idea. You go to a movie like this, and and it is based on a true story kind of thing, so I could look it up and see. I'm fairly certain they win at the end. Like, this is not a surprise. Mm-hmm. But I just, God, sometimes trailers,
Yeah.
But no, the second Deadpool 2 trailer was fantastic, and it gave enough, and I think it may have towed the line a little bit. I'm with you on that, of just like I hope we didn't see like the funniest stuff already.
Right. I almost wish it was stuff that they cut from the film, so when we see the film, it's
if there's a movie that they would do that with, this would be it.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I know we've seen shots in trailers that we haven't seen in movies, but I would love for like a Deadpool 2 trailer to include nothing but things that were cut from the movie.
Oh yeah.
That would be awesome. I would love that.
That would be awesome. The only trailer I think I've ever seen like that, it was the second or third Paranormal Activity, where it was like they showed the entire like third part of the film in the trailer. And that entire part of the film was reshot.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, none of these surprises or jump scares actually happened in the film, and it was completely different at the end. I thought that was pretty cool. So, yeah, if they could do that with, like, Deadpool or something else, that'd be great. Because we're all going to see it. We get the idea of it. We don't need don't need it ruined before we go in there. That was the problem with The Flash and Justice League for me, because it was like there was a lot of cool moments with them, funny moments, but they pushed them all in the trailer because they wanted people to go, "Hey, we're funny like the Avengers, come see us."
Yeah, that didn't work out at all.
Nope. Yeah, it actually came out that it was the least it grossed the least of all DC films.
Yeah.
In this current bunch, that's crazy.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when your movies suck.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but they went downhill, man. And all they had to do was look at Wonder Woman and say do that, but with more heroes. And
that's kind of what happened, right? They were halfway through Justice League, or they had most of Justice League shot when they were doing Wonder Woman, right? It was two different productions.
Yeah.
Going on like almost the same time.
And then they went back and basically reshot the third act.
Right.
And I think you can kind of tell, because I think had the third act been the entire movie, it would have been a better movie.
Absolutely.
The problem was the team that they had on it, and the confusion and the rush to schedule and everything. I think it was just an entire confluence of working against it.
Right.
And when you start from a place of a Zack Snyder superhero movie, you're not going to have fun. Mm-hmm. Because his movies are not fun. They're not. You say whatever you want about them, and I'm not debating like Watchmen or 300 or anything, but they're not quote unquote fun.
Watchmen's definitely not a fun movie.
Exactly, and
it's cool like that. Yeah. Like I like how it's got great music videos in it, but it's not fun.
Yeah. But I mean, that's I don't know. I hope that they get better.
Yeah.
Especially with, and I'm going to jump ahead a little bit, but we're walking into it, since they've decided they're going to do an adaptation of The New Gods, which...
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, because I could care less about The New Gods.
Wait, see, and here's why I think this is a great idea, because this is a property that is not as mainstream. It's big for, people who are hardcore in DC Comics. This is... this is genuinely holy ground. But the overall populace, like the average moviegoer that everybody wants to go after, is just like that. They're like, the what? The who? What are these things?
Right.
So
literally the only thing I've ever liked about The New Gods is the current Mr. Miracle comic, which is fantastic. But it's not anything like any of the other New Gods comics. It's very very personal, very much about that one character, and there's just pages of him laying in bed thinking out to himself about his wife. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's nothing to do with and it's like they sprinkle in, from what I've read, just a few issues so far of it, it's all these giant crazy apocalyptic type things are happening between the scenes, and he's just at home oh man, today was rough. Kind of like that it's that point of view of it, which is awesome, but that's not what this movie's going to be like. Or maybe it is, who knows. But I don't know. I think you're right. This might be their Guardians, I guess, where it's hey, we can take a franchise that the public really doesn't know and kind of blow it up.
Well, and taking a big swing with having Ava DuVernay direct it, I think that's a fantastic idea.
Right.
And that's why I'm excited about it.
Right. No, absolutely. So yeah, we'll see.
I just hope they don't decide to reshuffle as much production as Fox decided to this week.
Oh yeah.
Good
Oh boy.
God in heaven. So some of them they moved up, some of them they moved back, some of them they shot in the head. I don't know. Some of these moves are insane.
Well, the New Mutants, for one, they moved back from February 22nd, 2019 to August 2nd, 2019. The original, because it was already pushed back before.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out in 2 weeks.
Right, it was supposed to come out this year, but they did reshoots because the first people who saw it were they wanted it to be more scary. And then it got to the point. This is an article I was reading. Someone close to the set was saying that people really liked it when it was scary, and so I guess Fox decided to do new scenes and to really amp that up. They're doubling down on that again. That's the reason why there's a lot of this moving around, was because of New Mutants. Now they want to make New Mutants in such a category of scary that Deadpool was comedy. Does that make sense?
Right. And
they want to push it in that direction. Apparently they said almost over 50% of the film will be reshot.
Yeah.
They're adding 2 characters. One of them is just a side character briefly in it that they've decided people really liked. They're going to put in for most of the film. So, hey, if they're going to, I don't know, if they're going to reshoot half the film and add things that people want, I'm still going to see this anyway. I'm still excited. It's a scary movie, so the more scares you can put in there, the better for me. I don't think it's going to hurt it too much. But 2019 August, man, that's what a way to push it.
Yeah, I mean we're just under a year and a half from its original release date. Since it was supposed to come out in 2 weeks, it's supposed to be on the 13th, and now it's going to be in over a year. It's just nuts.
Yeah.
They pulled Bohemian Rhapsody up from Christmas to November 2nd, which I think was a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
It just never struck me as a Christmas movie.
No.
I never understood that scheduling. Dark Phoenix got pushed again, I think for reshoots from November to next Valentine's Day.
Yep.
Because I guess Deadpool did so well on Valentine's Day, they think that Dark Phoenix could too.
Nah, I don't think so.
Why do this on Valentine's? Why? I don't.
Right. Deadpool had the comedy thing going for it.
Deadpool was perfectly played against type.
Right.
Is exactly what it was. It was so counter-programmed that it couldn't not work.
Right.
I don't see Dark Phoenix. I don't understand why on Valentine's Day. I'm sure that there will be 3 romantic comedies or some things come out that week that everybody else is going to be dragged to.
Right.
And I say that because I saw that with 50 Shades this year. I saw every guy that walked by was rolling their eyes. Almost every single one of them. So don't tell me, oh, well, they decide to go to these. No, they don't. No, they don't. They're dragged to it. They don't argue because they know that that when it's their time to want to go do something else or come to see, oh, we got to go see this movie. This is awesome. Then they get to pull that card out. Hey, I went to see that movie with you, so now you go with me. You know, that's how it works. That's the give and take of it. But I don't understand Dark Phoenix being scheduled for Valentine's Day. I don't get it. Was that the best opening they could find? Maybe. I don't know what else is around that time, so I don't know, but it's just strange to me.
Yeah.
And from that spot, they kicked the Kid Who Would Be King from Valentine's Day to March 1st, so they bumped it 2 weeks. Okay, sure. I understand that. That one I get.
Right.
And then they've got an animated movie called Spies in Disguise that they moved from January 18th to April 12th of next year. Okay. So, a little bit of reshuffling, but God, how much they have to have shot as much film reshooting New Mutants as they have shooting it.
Right.
I mean, that's the good news is you only have to build the sets once, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
So, man, and scheduling must be a bear. If you're doing reshoots now, when how many of these people have moved on to other projects? And
that was the other big issue with the Dark Phoenix is they wanted to do some typical reshoots, but because everyone in that film is famous now, it was just they had to get the right timing, and that's why that one's being pushed so much.
Yeah, that makes sense. I get that.
Yeah. That's the one where they were saying that's more to do with scheduling with the actors than has to do with the amount of stuff they have to do. Apparently just the same amount you normally would have to do, but just everyone's famous in that movie. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. I see Spike Lee's in talks to direct a Marvel Sony film, Night Watch.
Yeah. I found this really, really interesting because when I heard that, I thought, wasn't he like a side character in like one Spider-Man comic? And I had to look because I knew nothing about Night Watch, and I still know nothing about Night Watch.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But this is a way for them to expand their Marvel universe. So I mean that's their way to do it, and I just okay. I like when they dig. I like seeing like some deep pulls.
This is something you expect on like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This
exactly.
kind of character.
Yeah, exactly. For them to be like, oh hey, let's get this guy.
Right.
And it was I don't know, like he's got such a weird story. And he wasn't in like a tremendous amount. I think that they're gonna spin him off from Venom. I wonder if they're gonna introduce him in Venom. Because I vaguely remember him having to do something with the Maximum Carnage story. I wonder if that's gonna be a part of it.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, I'm looking at pictures here. He looks like Spawn.
It kind of, yeah. There's definitely that. Well, because I mean, it was the '90s.
I mean, he's got the exact collar, the exact cape, the exact almost the exact face.
Yeah.
Man. Oof. Oh yeah, just go down Google and it's like a side-by-side comparison. That's funny. But it's a cool design, so people dig it.
Why not? Let him take somebody. Look how well that worked out with Deadpool with Negasonic Teenage Warhead. They took a character that was in literally one comic. One comic, and they were like, we want that one. You want what one? That one. That's a thing? Sure, go for it. Why not? And they did something cool, and looks like they're going to keep doing something cool. So good for them. Rock on.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I see they're making a new Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah, they Netflix had announced they were working on an animated series, and they're still doing that. And I guess they thought Gina Rodriguez was such a good fit to voice Carmen Sandiego that they're just going to have her play her in the live action movie that they're doing.
Oh, okay.
So very cool. Good call. I like it. And it's so weird to see like some of these things that are making a renaissance. Like how many people really remember Carmen Sandiego?
Everyone remembers the song, I think.
Yeah, but that's it, really.
Right.
Like
Right.
it's not
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's not like the Magic School Bus where everybody remembers the song and the premise.
That's true.
Like everybody.
Well, I mean, people know the premise briefly. Like she's she's all over the world. That's about it.
Right. A lot of people forget that she was a thief and she was
That's
always
true.
the bad guy you were trying to catch.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
But I don't know. This will be neat. Good for. And I think that her production company is also partnering with Netflix. Like it's a co-production.
Mm-hmm.
Was it I Can and I Will? I think is the name of her production company. So.
Okay.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Spielberg can say whatever he wants. Netflix is going to keep making movies.
Oh, what is he thinking?
I think that got blown a little out of proportion.
I didn't read the article, admittedly. I just saw the headline, and I was like, what?
And that was pretty much the problem. I think Spielberg's idea was kind of separating traditional film from new film. And I understand where people like had it come across as like, oh, it's an old guy talking about old movies and new movies. Like I see where people thought that, but it was clear that wasn't his intent. But
Right.
it's kind of one of those things where you think, yeah, you were trying to make a point that you really didn't need to try to make in the first place.
Right.
Yeah, but whatever it is. It's what it is.
Yeah.
Eventually, Spielberg will make a Netflix movie, and everybody will remind him about this, and Spielberg, being Spielberg, will say, "Hey, you know what? I goofed. My bad."
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Was he like trying to compare it to like a YouTube or Hulu and Netflix all like bundled together?
I'm gonna have to pull it up again here. It was
No, you don't have to. I did just not seeing the article. That's the vibe I got from the headline was like he was like, well, unless it hits the theaters, but then again, not all. Do all movies have to hit the theater to be Academy Award winning?
Yes, they do. They have to have at least
Gotcha.
a limited theatrical release. That's why so many films, especially around award season, like at the very end of the year, will open in New York and LA, and then they'll open everywhere else like 2 months after that.
Gotcha.
They have to have there's a minimum threshold, like film, and it's not many screens. It's a handful of screens in big enough markets to actually qualify. Yeah, there is a limit.
Gotcha.
It was, I think, Spielberg's idea, I think, was kind of like their made-for-TV movies. And so it was kind of his way of saying they belong more in the category of TV movies than theatrical movies. And people, I think, just kind of took that to mean, well, he says Netflix movies aren't real movies.
Right.
And it's it's not really what he said, but
What he said, yeah.
But and to be fair, he did go on to blast the idea of just that single little qualification of it was really like he was saying, if a movie is going to be an Academy Award nominated movie, it needs to run in theaters.
Right.
And not just be like, hey, we put it in a couple theaters so that we hit the eligibility and now it's out on Netflix, because that's where it's supposed to be.
Right.
It was
he's basically just saying like it's a cheap way to get around it.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's it was a dig. There was a dig at Netflix in there, but it was the way it read to me was more a dig of the qualification system and the idea of like, look, if let's be clear on what's a movie for Academy Award purposes and what's not.
Right.
I don't know if I agree with him entirely. There is a small point in the idea that they are made on kind of a made-for-TV sort of model.
Right.
But they don't come out that way. So that's the thing. It's weird. This is weird territory that we just haven't figured out yet.
Yeah. That's true.
But I think if you make a good movie, then that's all that matters, really.
Right. No, I agree. Yeah, and I think Netflix, this in 20 years from now, this conversation will sound silly, you know?
Yeah.
Because just the way, it's just going to be the way people want to, they'd rather, you know, have the option to view it in the privacy of their own home.
Oh, yeah, no question.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. We got some Lady and the Tramp news.
Yeah, because there has to be a live-action CG Lady and the Tramp movie.
Yeah.
It's gonna be on the Disney streaming app, whatever it's called, whenever it comes out. And it's gonna be directed by Charlie Bean, who was the guy who did the Lego Ninjago movie, which
Nice.
was way better than it had any right to be at all. Did you ever watch it?
I did not know.
It's one of those movies that you would think, if you hadn't seen, imagine yourself in a world where we hadn't had the Lego movie yet. And you heard about a Lego Ninjago movie.
Okay.
Your first thought would probably be, oh, this is something that's going to air on Disney XD. And that's kind of what I thought going into it. And I was very, very wrong.
Okay.
It's pretty good. It's not Lego movie good, but it's not tremendously far off.
Oh, okay. Is it on Netflix?
I don't know yet. It might be. It's probably on something by now because it's been a while.
Now, we've talked about the Movies Anywhere application. Have you used that at all?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I just put mine together not too long ago.
Yeah, I love it. Just having all my digital movies in one place.
Now, is that application on, is there a My Movies application on the PlayStation and Xbox?
I know that there's, because I think it also works with Voodoo. So I think if you log in, I think it's one of those weird things where, like, if you log into that app or iTunes or Voodoo, like, it kind of all goes to the same sort of place.
That's what it says here. It says PlayStation 4 Voodoo.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because
I just started adding my accounts, and I'm like, oh, wait, that's crazy. I own Logan and Deadpool and Star Wars movies and Big Hero 6 and all these other movies. I'm like, oh, I own Ice Age. I don't know why.
And some of those, I know Big Hero 6 and Ice Age in particular, I think when you linked accounts, like, they were freebies. Like, it was just like, oh, you've linked these accounts together. Here, have these movies.
Oh, awesome.
I'm pretty sure it was those two. I got Demolition Man for linking it way on back in the day.
Nice.
And I was like, yeah, sure, what the hell? This was a fun movie.
I thought these would be cool, especially my niece and nephew. Like, Lego, Ice Age, and Big Hero 6. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah,
Somehow,
I love
Ghostbusters Answer the Call, the third Ghostbusters movie, the one everyone loves.
Yeah. You know what? Chris Hemsworth aside, I didn't think that was as terrible a movie as everybody else did.
Yeah.
The irony of that, the hard poetic irony of that movie, that the handsome guy was the worst part.
That's funny.
And that I don't
really remember. It was very forgettable for me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
God, I got the bus shelter for that. I do. I have the oversized.
Bus shelter.
I have the oversized poster for that one, and I'll tell you why I got it. Because it's got everybody on it, like they're all standing there, but the logo is enormous.
Yeah.
And that was honestly why I got it. I'm like, this just has a giant Ghostbusters logo on it. I can't not have this.
Oh, that's cool. Oh yeah, and that would be the one people don't expect you to have.
That and 50 Shades Freed.
There you go. I have. I remember at work I had someone gave me a Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull poster, so I put it up, and it's the worst of the movies. but it was just an Indiana Jones poster.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, some movies that either nobody watched or nobody liked still have cool posters.
Yeah.
Or there's a reason for it. Like, I have the emoji, I think I've talked about it on here. I have the Emoji Movie poster just so I can point to that and say, they made that.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, for no other reason than to say, you know, like, if I'm ever working on something and I'm like, well, I think this is awful and nobody's ever going to want it, I can just point at that poster and be like, they made that. Like,
yeah.
But, you know, I've got so many posters. I think I'm pushing 20 right now, and I'm I would go up there and just dive through them. Like, I don't know, I might do that tomorrow night. Just see, like, what have I missed? What's new? What do we have that I can grab?
Do you have them framed or?
Not yet, because frames are not cheap.
Right. Well, you could go to like what, Michael's. They have some cheap frames.
Yeah, but I mean, still, they're, you know, like $10-12. And if I'm getting all of these framed, you know, we're talking $200 and some. And
oh no, I'd start with just a few.
I do want to have, like, I will one day have most of them framed, I imagine. Like, I'll start with Star Wars, and then do probably like Spider-Man Homecoming and Logan Lucky, and just kind of work my way on through some of them.
Yeah.
I got the Annihilation poster last week because we were taking it down, and it was like, does anybody want this? It's kind of cool. It's, no, I don't think so. Not really. I was like, all right, cool, mine then. Like,
yep. There you go.
But that's, you know, right now I would just have no place to put them. Like, I can stack them when they're in poster tubes. So I've got them all stuffed in a corner behind my couch.
Right.
But if I, you know, like, if I'm gonna get them, I will one day get a bunch of them framed. It's just, I would have no place to put them if I just started doing that right now.
Yeah, no, just hold on to them. Keep them nice. Let's see here. We got a ton more news.
Yeah, that's what happens when we take a week off.
No, I didn't see the trailer for this. How was the trailer for Won't You Be My Neighbor?
I loved it. Man, it's up there with the newest Winnie the Pooh trailer in terms of just, like, it's so pure and innocent. It's just Mr. Rogers. It's not the biopic that Tom Hanks is doing. It's just a documentary of the story of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And I loved it because it really is just pure. There's nothing. It's not like the true Hollywood story of Mr. Rogers. It's just here was Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I really
is it a Netflix documentary or is it like in the theater?
It's going to be in theaters. It's a Focus production.
Oh wow.
So
I'm wondering how that's going to do.
Probably not tremendously well, but it also probably didn't cost a whole lot to do. So
that's true. I imagine have a limited run.
I know that Twitch is doing a Mr. Rogers marathon right now.
Right. That's funny.
That's awesome. It's fun to just, like, drop in and watch, you know, parts of it here and there, and you think, God, this was just. We really have nothing like that anymore.
That's true.
Even the kids shows that are on now, like, everything has to be. It's so different. It's not just.
Well, to be fair, a lot of the kids shows now, at least a lot of them did stick to learning.
True.
To learning Spanish or Peppa the Pig. I don't know what they learn in that, but I think it's educational.
Yeah, that one's I don't know.
There's stuff in it that, at least that's what my brother and sister-in-law have told me, is that there's a lot of stuff in there where they're like, they teach them stuff like Dora the Explorer.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But you're absolutely right. There's no, like, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood would probably be taken very oddly in 2018. Someone would just think the worst of the person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a different time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're right.
Or someone that genuine, because he was genuine.
Yeah, there was no. That's the thing. Like, there was no, and that's who he was, and that's kind of the point of the documentary. It looked like was the guy you got on screen was him. There was no. It wasn't an act. He just genuinely wanted kids to learn, and to grow and be good people.
People would be so ready to be snarky in 2018 or think the worst of the guy or, think that, he's a pervert or something like that. Like, that's how I imagine. Look what happened with Pee Wee Herman. He got ostracized because of what he did on his private time.
Well, but I mean, that's the thing, though. That's why I think Mr. Rogers would still work, because they would look at, like, well, what does he do in his private life? It's the same. It's the same thing. Like,
right.
He's not...
I guess what I'm trying to say is people would try and look for something to make it bad.
Yeah, well, to be fair, they didn't have to look for Pee-wee. He kind of showed everybody.
That's true. No, he was in a movie theater. That was specifically for that. Actually, it's funny. In 2018, I don't think that would be that big of a deal.
Probably not.
Look at like, he's no Harvey Weinstein. You know what I mean? Like, he did not hurt anybody. He didn't abuse his power. He went to a movie theater that was specifically for adult films, which I'm sure other people were doing the same thing in it. It's crazy that back then it was such a big deal, but now it's 2018 and we're talking about, our president being with a porn star. It's just so different.
I was going to say, like, I don't think what Pee-wee did even qualifies him to run for the House. Like, I mean, I think it's just that far down the totem pole of just like,
especially with Hollywood right now, all the skeletons that are coming out of the closet, it makes Pee Wee Herman look like a saint.
Yeah.
I mean, does that make sense?
It in a really bizarre, perverse way, but you're not wrong. You're not.
It's because he had the ties to a children's show that made it so bad.
Agreed. Yeah, but I mean, he rebounded. We got a revival on Netflix.
Yeah, I think people nowadays are like, all right, well, whatever. He wasn't that bad. Look what's happening now. You know. So, yeah, but he totally did rebound, and good for him. So, I don't know. How do we get Pee Wee Herman? I'm sorry. Didn't mean to go from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, but that'll be interesting. We got some Men in Black news.
Yeah, we're gonna have a Thor Ragnarok reunion. Yeah. Valkyrie and Thor are gonna be the Men in Black.
That's awesome.
That's great. Tessa Thompson should be in more things. She was tremendous in Thor.
Absolutely. Yeah, they got some really good chemistry, so that's going to be cool. It's going to be interesting to see how Men in Black does in 2000 and whenever it comes out,
1920, yeah, probably.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're doing a Grudge reboot.
Yeah, because, why not?
Yeah, okay, so John Cho joins it?
Sure. And that's really, like, all I know about it. Like, everything else just wasn't all that important to me. I'm sorry, but, the last Grudge told the story. Like, it's done. I don't know.
Speaking of stories that are probably done that need to return.
I think this could work.
Okay. Maybe. To be fair, it's getting rebooted at the right place. The Leprechaun series is going to get a reboot at Sci-Fi, titled Leprechaun Returns. Written by Susan Kelly, Ash vs. Evil Dead. And who's it being directed by?
Directed by Steven Kostanski, who did a movie called The Void, which I see on every, like, best horror movies on Netflix list. I hated that movie. It bored the hell out of me. Like, there were some creepy ideas. Don't get me wrong, there were some genuinely creepy ideas involved, but it was slow and boring, and I did not care one bit about any character in it. But that's the thing. Like, there are some really creepy ideas. This just needed I don't know what it needed. A rewrite, I guess. But I don't know. If nothing else, it was a good. I don't know what else Kostanski's done. If this is everything for him, like if that was his first big thing, then that's fine. Because as far as like if this is going to be your first go around, it wasn't bad. But
what in the world? It looks. Is the KKK in this movie?
No, but they're weird cult people who do
It
weird.
looks like
It's bizarre.
It looks like when the Power Rangers got new outfits, but it's like the KKK got new outfits, like turbocharged or something.
You're not wrong in that design. That's very true. But it is weird. Like there are some really good ideas there, and it wasn't scary. There were some great moments and some great thoughts, but especially like once you get towards the end and you get to the end game and it's like, oh, it's this, which is not really, I don't know, it's weird and it's creepy, but it still kind of falls flat.
Yeah. I'm in such a weird state. I used to love scary movies. I've had, this is a little personal, but I've had so much anxiety recently that's the last movie I want to see. And I don't know why. Like, you'd think I would want to see a movie where it's like, okay, and I know the outcome's going to be good, and they're going to get over something, but I don't know why, but scary movies are things that I just kind of stay away from now.
Well, and especially in this day and age, because they don't. Like, that was one thing, like how I started my week, the last week was watching. I went on a horror movie blitz.
Oh wow.
I watched Ouija, the second one, which the first one was awful, but the second one really creepy. I liked it a lot. I watched something. What the hell else did I watch?
I always mess with my mom when I always tell her I'm going to get a Ouija board and go over to her house and play with it with like my brother or something, and always freaks out. You better not bring that into this house.
I watched that, and then I watched Oculus, which is on Netflix, which is a head trip. It's a psychological horror movie, and the psychological part is done very, very well.
Oh, okay, Oculus.
Oculus was good, and then I watched The Ritual, which was also really, really nice.
Okay.
And the creature design in The Ritual, you watch, and you're just like, somebody really screwed up, made this thing. But it works. It's not something where it's like, oh, we created this deformed looking thing that looks like it's always in terrible agony, kind of. Like, how many monsters have we seen lately where it's like, oh, this thing looks like somebody had a bunch of extra parts lying around.
Right.
This was like, there's a lot of thought put into this thing, and it's creepy as hell.
That's cool.
But I liked it, and I went on, like, just in one night, just watched all three of those back to back, and I was like, and I haven't watched horror movies in a while, like, not anything new, anyway.
Yeah.
Or at least new to me. I know Oculus is like 2013, I think, or 2014. But they were good, and I liked them, and I was like, I don't know why I'm in this bizarre little mood. But
yeah, it's weird. I'm in like I'm like in a funk or something. I'm like in complete opposite mood because like I don't want to see horror movies. Like I haven't played games in a little bit, so like just in a weird funk where I don't know what I want. The main things that excite me like the blockbuster movies for some reason. Like I want fun. Like if I'm watching something, I need to be entertained in a like fun way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair.
Where which is it's odd, but I don't know. But it got me to watch some new shows this week. I don't know if you saw it, but the Krypton show on Sci-Fi.
I saw it premiered. I haven't actually seen the premiere yet, but you were telling me it was actually interesting.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, because there's a lot of surprises for me, at least, because I didn't know anything about it except for it's going to be on Krypton. It's going to be, I guess, now Wikipedia says it takes place 200 years before the birth of our Superman.
Right, because apparently Kryptonians have longer than normal lives. It's Superman's grandfather.
Yes.
Like, that's pretty much, and there's Brainiac. Like, that's really all I know.
Yeah, so it's this, we all know about Jor-El, sort of. Like, his history has always changed, especially recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's his father, so it's like this whole separated thing, but it's very much tied to the DC universe in ways that surprised me, where I'm like, oh, okay. And I could kind of see where they're going from with the different houses. It's like sci-fi's like, oh, we could do a little bit of Game of Thrones, a little bit of Battlestar Galactica, because, you know, they do talk about, like, are we alone in the universe, and could something come and kill us, and oh, that's ridiculous, you know. And so, like, it's very much, and then if you know the DC universe and kind of what's happened to Krypton and everything, like most people do, it makes you go like, oh, how is this going to end up? How the House of Zod, the House of El, and what happens and stuff. I found it very, very entertaining. It got me excited, and I can't wait to watch more of this. This is one of those shows that I wish were on Netflix or Hulu, where all 10 episodes are out, where I can be like, all right, let's jump into them, because it's really connecting to the DC universe in ways that man, I wish sometimes the Marvel Netflix shows did, because it seems like the Marvel Netflix shows sort of connect to each other when they want to, but for the most part they don't.
Yeah.
Like I need to get through Jessica Jones. That's one that I've watched everything except Jessica Jones this week. So now that I'm not really playing games that much, that's what I plan on to be doing for the next week or so, is catching up on that. I want to see Jessica Jones and Altered Carbon.
Yeah, that's one that that one just looks like that's where I'm like, I'm just not in it
Right.
looks so dark, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want that right now.
Right. No, I agree, actually. I guess just because I was told it was so good. So good.
I have heard.
I want something to get my attention, if that makes sense.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Yeah. And Jessica Jones the next thing, because I like Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
I like the universe. And
this season would definitely grab your attention. How far are you?
I've only seen the first 2 episodes, I think.
Oh, it's so good. This is because this season is really just her story.
Right.
They're not. I like that this does the opposite of what you were just talking about. Like, it doesn't worry about the MCU.
And that's, for whatever reason, that's why I kind of put it on the back burner, because I figured that going in. I was like, this doesn't seem like it's tied at all to it, and that's kind of what I wanted. I wanted wanted something to be mysterious and to be like, oh, I know that reference, and but I am going to be watching it because Jessica Jones.
Yeah, it's really good.
To be fair, there were some things in the first 2 episodes that were connected to the MCU, like the guy who ran in and was like, I can run really fast, and he says his name, and I'm like, and I looked that up, and I was like, oh, he's tied to the bigger, he's really a thing.
Yeah,
so,
well.
Yeah, right. So
very, very, very tangentially though. Like,
no, I know, but I dig that stuff
when fair.
they can throw it in there and it's not going to hurt anything. Again, this is like that character we talked about before with Spider-Man, who would seem like it would show up in Jessica Jones. What's his name? The Night Watch guy?
Night Watch. That was it.
Right. So obscure that it's like, oh, he showed up in like two issues of something. That, I kind of like that stuff. But yeah, no, I don't expect that going the rest of the season. I imagine it's going to be a personal story about her and not tied to anything. So that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah. Let's see, where were we? We were
TV
Leprechaun.
News. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So, getting some TV news, some unfortunate news. Donald Glover, FX is not producing the animated series with Donald Glover due to creative differences.
Yeah, the Deadpool series that they were talking about.
Yeah.
And now, this falls into some bizarre territory, because this series was part of the deal between FX and Glover's production company that he and his brother have. Mm-hmm. And there's the issue with how the licensing works, that the only place that if they wanted to do something else with this series, it would have to go through 20th Century Fox for TV, which is not very likely to happen.
No.
So this is a weird, like, this is a thing that's just, like, it's not going to go anywhere. Like, it's not going to get picked up somewhere else. It's not going to go to another network. It's like, it's just... It may be revisited after the Disney deal, but I wouldn't bet on it.
No.
I think that this project is just done now.
It's probably just done. Did his Yeah, his new season started, Atlanta season 2.
Okay.
Isn't it? Or am I?
I don't know, man.
Oh man, did you ever see the first season?
I didn't.
Oh, it's so good. That's something you should watch. That's fun.
Yeah.
And I think the second season, it's like they changed the name of it.
I remember reading about that, I think.
Yeah, it's called like, oh man, Robin season. That's what it's called. It's called
Duck
Robin
season.
season. I'm sorry?
I said duck season.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's funny. So that's I don't know. I want to see season 2. The first season was just so good. So good. So much good talent in that show. Um I did not see the trailer for Cloak and Dagger. How was it?
It looks good. It looks good. I mean, it's very much a freeform series. It's a teen Marvel drama, but I like it. I think it's going to be good. I'm really.
I like Runaways, but I think that was on Hulu.
Yeah, it's on Hulu. That's another one I need to watch. Like, I've heard nothing but good things about that.
Yeah, the first however many episodes of that were pretty good.
Yeah.
Jay Ali from the Fosters cast as FBI agent Raul Ray Nadeem. I butcher that name. In the third season. So who is this guy? I don't recognize the name.
I don't know if he's if he's got ties to any comics or not.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what role he's going to play in Daredevil.
Yeah.
But
the third season was just announced, wasn't it?
Not that long ago, yeah. Or filming just started, or there was some news about it.
Yeah, something just popped up. But yeah. So that's cool. So let's see here.
Did you see the first like full trailer for Cobra Kai?
No, I did not. Oh yeah, I did.
the actual because they've done like 3 or 4 little teasers.
Maybe I saw the teasers then.
There've been a handful of those. This was the first and they were only ever like 30 seconds or whatever.
Okay.
But then they just recently put out like the first full trailer, and it completely flips the dynamic from the movie.
Oh.
And it's like, oh, wow, okay, Daniel-san grew up to be a dick. Like,
wow.
He's just he's an awful, privileged dude. And,
wow.
And Johnny is like, I am kind of just trying to get by here.
Oh, wow. That's a cool premise.
I love it. The idea of like it's like the bully grew up to be like halfway noble. Like, it's not a total turnaround.
Right.
Which I like because there's a human element to that, and the hero grew up to. I mean, he is just an ass.
Oh, I gotta see.
And I love it. It's great. He owns a car dealership now or whatever, and
of course.
And it's funny because like he's got money now and everything, and he is just a jerk, and it's great. Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. Yeah, I gotta watch that. So this Street Fighter Machinima web series, it's going to become a full TV show?
Yeah, they did that. Well, because they had done 2 parts for like their little web production. And then their third season, I guess if you want to call it that, is actually going to be like a larger budget, like actually on TV series.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's coming from Entertainment One and Mark Gordon, and it's gonna follow the World Warrior tournament kind of concept from Street Fighter 2.
Okay.
The idea of like it's kind of the idea from the movie of here's the story from these different characters' perspectives. And then they all wind up in this tournament. They're all trying to take down Bison, and then they wind up in the tournament kind of deal.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it won't be like the movie because we won't have Raul Julia, which is sad on so many different levels. But
okay.
I don't know. It'll be interesting. Everybody's behind this. Machinima loved it. Entertainment One is really big on it. Capcom has come out and been like, we finally found the right partner for a Street Fighter series. And I was like, I didn't know you were looking.
Right. That's funny.
It is kind of that thing of like, oh, you guys were actively trying to develop a Street Fighter series. I really didn't know.
Right.
Because your last movie did so well.
Right. So, okay. So explain the Clarissa explains it all. What's happening with that?
They're basically doing one of these like sequel / reboots.
Oh wow! Like Boy Meets World, Boy Meets Girl.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Same cast, same kind of premise, but the old cast is now playing the older roles. You know,
makes sense.
Clarissa is going to be the mom, and she's going to have the kid who has to grow up and learn everything, kind of deal. Melissa Joan Hart will be back. She will be playing Clarissa Darling again. And Mitchell Kriegman, who created the series and kind of show ran it, is also going to be back.
Oh, okay.
So it's I get it. I totally understand why they're doing it.
When are they going to do the Keenan and Kel show where like they adopt a kid or something? That would be fun.
If Keenan ever gets tired of being a marquee player on Saturday Night Live, right, then I guess. But
right, yeah, he's doing pretty good for himself. He's like one of the longest cast members there right now, isn't he?
Yeah. And he's done. It's so weird to remember him from all that in Kenan and Kel, and then to look at him and see him on SNL and just be like, dude made it. He totally made it, man. Because that's like, you don't get into, like, if you're going to be serious about sketch comedy, that's got to be where you want to wind up.
Oh, yeah, like, absolutely. I'd love to see him transition into some films, too.
Yeah, well, we had one of those.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Good Burger. Home of the Good Burger. May I take your order?
One good burger. That'll be $8.
Oh, yeah.
Could go on and on. I miss Kel. I know he's doing his own thing, but I miss Kel.
Yeah, them two together were great. I saw one bit of funny news, I thought. Not funny, but kind of cool news that, you know how they're doing the Lost in Space reboot?
Yeah.
Well, the robot apparently he's a machine, but he was not made by man.
Okay.
So he's like an aliens robot.
Sure.
And so like he's got all these mysteries of the universe inside of him and stuff like that. So I thought that was a pretty cool little fact about it.
That's a neat idea, yeah.
Yeah, little twist on it that it's like, oh, it's not made by humans. It's this alien robot that's helping them or whatever. I don't know. I thought that was neat. That's kind of cool. Let's get into some video game news.
Yeah, we have so much else this week. I'm not going to break the whole thing down here.
Right.
But right. I did, man. I tore through this because I've been following the Vivendi Ubisoft thing forever. And I don't know why, but it's been so fascinating to me. So I had to put a timeline down because we have hit the finale of this story, and it is that with the backing of an investment group called the where in hell is it? It's called the Ontario Teachers Pension Plan.
Right.
Which, along with being actually the Ontario Teachers Pension Plan, also has billions of dollars invested in all kinds of things around the world.
Right.
With them and the backing of Tencent, which is like a big Chinese social media kind of tech conglomerate company, Ubisoft will be buying back all of its shares from Vivendi. So they will be taking back complete control because Vivendi was on the verge of having enough to be legally required by French law to place a bid for a hostile takeover. And Ubisoft has been fighting it, and it's been like 3 years of just
their last E3. They were on stage basically like the end of SNL where they all come out.
Yeah, it was.
They're all like, this is our goodbye. Like that's kind of what it felt like. Don't kill us.
It was kind of them standing up there like Ubisoft strong kind of deal. Like,
and hats off to Ubisoft, man. Out of the big companies, they see problems and they fix them.
And that's why it's worked, because they're, when Vivendi was coming in, Ubisoft wasn't doing tremendously well, and Vivendi thought, well, okay, we'll just, we'll pick off some of these shares a little at a time, like they did with Gameloft, which was run by Yves' brother, Michel, and they wound up actually taking that over and forcing him out. And he and Eve were like, but fine, you'll take Ubisoft over our dead bodies.
Mhm.
And they fought like hell. And part of that was listening to fans and giving us what we wanted.
Yeah.
And I mean, from Assassin's Creed on
Yeah.
back and up to Far Cry. Have you been playing any of Far Cry 5?
No, like I said, I haven't really
Oh,
picked up games.
it's so good. That's what I'm doing. As soon as we're finished recording and I edit this and upload it, that's what I'm diving back into. I love it.
Just in a funk. I'll get back into it in a few weeks, but I
You,
think I need a decompression because I've been involved. I've been playing way more games the last year or two
yeah,
than I have watched movies or TV shows, and it's like it's getting too much.
that's fair.
Where, yeah, I mean, I even got Ni no Kuni and I played 10 minutes of it, and I'm like, this is not what I want to do right now. So,
No, that's totally
but
fair.
I will. I mean, that game looks fun. That games look like it was made for my PC. Like, I really want to go around and blow the heads off of a bunch of crazy radical people trying to take over the country. So
Yeah,
it sounds fun,
but
the premise.
Far Cry 5 is what they wanted Far Cry 4 to be.
Yeah,
It is. It's so good. Yeah, it'll be waiting for you when you're ready, and you've got a fun time ahead of you, no doubt.
yeah.
But
I heard you get to have like a bear as a pet at some point. I hope you could fly with it because that would be really cool.
bear, cheetah, or dog.
That's awesome.
And I'll tell you what, I am gonna play through, and this is another one that's kind of like Far Cry 4 at the start, where it's like, okay, you can do this or you cannot do this.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Far Cry 4.
Okay.
Not do anything, and it's really funny.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
But that's what Ubisoft's been doing, and it's worked for them. Vivendi's profits haven't hit the marks that they've wanted to hit, and Ubisoft has overperformed. Like their profits have gone up 50, 80, sometimes 90% in a quarter because they've been listening and they put out good stuff. Assassin's Creed Origins was tremendous, and they responded to fans, and it was great. And the South Park, The Fractured But Whole, was another Ubisoft one. And
Right.
they, just quality after quality after quality to the point where they finally gained enough momentum that they could go to investors and they could say, look, we are rebounding. Look at this. We are trending up. Our fan base is strong again. We've got all the support. And the financiers said, you know what? Okay.
Yeah.
We got
they
you back.
announced the new Assassin's Creed game, and I think it's going to be like it's going to be another one where it's not a year, it's like 2 years.
Yeah.
So like they're doing the right things, they're making the right calls, where a lot of the other companies are like, hey, let's put loot boxes in everything and screw everything up. And yeah, it's like, you know what, they're and you have the feeling if they would have gotten their way and taken over the company, it would have been just like that.
Oh yeah.
With all the other ones.
Oh, no question. And Rabbids, the Mario Rabbids game was Ubisoft too. The Mario Rabbids XCOM game. That was the one, and still, we look at what they've done since then, and you're like, wow, these are good. But I think that was when they started their upswing. It was like, this thing is ridiculous. It's ludicrous. It's an idea that if you go into a pitch meeting and say, okay, I've got an idea for a new XCOM game. Your characters are going to be Mario characters and the Rabbids version of Mario characters in an XCOM game. You get thrown out of that window.
Oh yeah, on paper it doesn't work.
No,
but that's what stunk about it being leaked ahead of time. Everyone was so ready to shit on that game because they're like, I do not want rabbits in a Mario game, and Mario has a gun. That's what everyone was thinking.
Yeah.
But when they came out and they presented it, and then you see that guy in the audience where he was like one of the lead developers or whatever, and he was in tears.
Yeah.
And you see it playing out, and you're like, oh, that's actually a really cool idea.
Yeah, you're like, this will work. This looks fun.
And
this is
perfect on the handheld.
Yeah, and you're like, this is ridiculous in all the right ways. It's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where Ubisoft showed that they could rebound and innovate and were not afraid of just radical ideas.
Yeah.
And it worked out for them. They will have, pretty much their entire company. I think Tencent will have 5% of the shares. Ontario Teachers Pension Plan will have something I think it's like 3.4%. And this buyback is going to take place through 2021. It's not going to be all at one time. But expect to see a very jubilant Eve at E3 this year.
Oh,
like, he's going to have the biggest Cheshire Cat grin on his face. I will guarantee you.
Oh, yeah. And The Division 2, when The Division came out, to me, it sucked.
Yeah.
But everyone that I know that stuck with it and started playing a lot of the expansion stuff said they really turned it around. Yeah. They're all excited about Division 2. So, and I am too. I'm excited to see what they can do to get me back in, because I never played that other stuff. But yeah, it's just right along with what you're saying. It's just they did the right thing.
Yeah, they listened, learned, and grew. And if imagine the unstoppable powerhouse EA would be if they did that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Instead of just the same EA business as usual, if they actually, if they follow Ubisoft's example, there would be no stopping them.
Oh no, absolutely. Hey, throw a battle royale mode in that Division 2, and I will be by it day one.
There you go.
Yeah, it's man, it just writes itself. That just perfect for that kind of game.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We got some Twitch news.
Yeah, there's basically Twitch games for Plus now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
if you've got Twitch Prime, which I mean, let's face it, everybody has Amazon Prime, and Twitch is free. So all you have to do is link them, and you get free games.
Oh yeah.
This month is Super Hot, Shadow Tactics, Tales from Candlekeep, Oxenfree, and Mr. Shifty. Interestingly, Super Hot and Oxenfree are also, I forget if it's Game Pass or Games for Plus, or not Games for Plus, Games for Gold games this month. But they're also part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I went and downloaded some of these, Super Hot and stuff like that, because Super Hot is what everyone's saying. It's great, and I played a little bit of it. It's fun. It's good. So, yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. So we got some wrestling news?
Man, what a week. What a freaking week, man. I had seen this around before it was, and I kept thinking like, oh yeah, okay, sure, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then saw it was official, and I almost cried. Yeah. I came so close to just the idea of Daniel Bryan is cleared for in-ring competition. Mm-hmm. I was, oh man. And then on SmackDown last week when he gave that speech, I did cry. Like, I was like, this is insane, and I want that shirt. Oh, I want that new shirt so bad.
Oh yeah. Well, let me ask you, when did he retire?
2 years
When did
ago.
he come out?
2 years ago in Wisconsin on Monday Night Raw.
Because the reason why I'm asking is because that's right around when I started watching again.
Yeah.
Because I remember coming in and going, everyone likes Daniel Bryan, he's the guy. And I remember watching it, and I remember him retiring, and I was like, damn. Him and CM Punk were like the two guys that I missed.
Yeah.
That I didn't get to see in their glory. And so I'm excited to like be an avid watcher now and watch to see what he does.
You're in for a treat, because he is just...
the first thing he did, jump up and kick it looked so... I don't want to say the word real, but when he jumps up and kicks and his head almost hits the ground, I'm like, God damn.
Yeah.
He went just like, watch it. Don't hurt yourself already.
And that's part of what forced him into that what wound up being a temporary retirement.
It's like he's literally throwing himself at the person, and I thought it looked great. The whole crowd was going crazy. His beard and hair were like nuts. It weren't combed at all. You know, it was like, okay, this is a taste of what everyone felt with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah,
so
it's gonna be great. It makes WrestleMania something really worth watching now.
Yeah.
Since
him and Shane are going to be in a match with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, right?
If Shane is medically cleared. He
has diverticulitis. My father has that. It's not fun.
No, Brock Lesnar had that for years.
Yeah.
Before he was just in pain. He didn't know he had an actual condition.
Right.
And then he went in and they were like, oh yeah, you've got diverticulitis, and they did what they do. I guess it's a surgical procedure or something.
Yeah.
And corrected it, and that was when he made a big comeback. And you could,
I don't see him being cleared. I don't see Shane McMahon being cleared, depending on what they have to do, I guess.
Yeah, it depends on on if it's an outpatient procedure or if they're just going to hold on the surgery, because you can, diverticulitis is something that
He went in surgery today. I saw pictures.
they announced on SmackDown tonight he'd been released.
Well, I saw pictures of him at the hospital. Maybe.
Yeah, because I saw that too. Like he was in the hospital,
Okay.
But I think
so. Maybe they didn't have to rearrange his organs,
no,
because that's what I thought you get with diverticulitis. They have to go in and cut some out.
It may be, but it may be the kind of thing they can put. I mean, because WrestleMania is in less than 2 weeks. I imagine he fights through that and then the next day goes into surgery. I think that they had kind of seen this coming for Shane. They knew he was gonna need time
For
off.
some reason, I thought he just had surgery today because I saw Instagram photos of him and his kids at the hospital.
He was in the hospital, I think, because he got an infection when he was on vacation.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what that was for. I think it was actually totally unrelated, but at the same time it came out that he had all this other stuff, and
Okay,
I
gotcha.
don't think they were related. I think the other stuff were things that that's why he's stepping down as commissioner and whatnot, was he's going to take this time off.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So I think they're going to do that after WrestleMania.
Gotcha. Okay. I imagine Daniel Bryan will be doing most of the wrestling for them too because of that.
Yeah, I think so.
Just gotta be careful. Don't jump off a ladder or anything.
It's Shane. I mean, he's jumped off the Titantron before.
He can do what he wants. I'm saying Daniel Bryan. I want to see Daniel Bryan wrestle more.
And I mean, they're going to impact test him after every match. So it's, I mean, they're being as careful as they possibly can be.
You gotta be. Yeah, he's got a little baby girl, so
yeah. But
he's just not. I guess it's totally different when you're it's Daniel Bryan and he's single and he doesn't have any kids and it's just then it's on him. What happens? But
right.
When you got a family, yeah, I thought that was cool, all the stuff he said about Brie and stuff. So
yeah, I love the thank you Brie chants, because I even put it up in the group. I'm like, that's the only time you are ever gonna hear that chant, ever at all.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's gonna be good. I'm really looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
And not, this week was fairly boring on both shows. Nothing really interesting happened. It's a bizarre week because it's the next to last week before WrestleMania.
Braun still doesn't have a partner, does he?
I don't think we're gonna know who Braun's partner is until the day of.
I hope Bliss is his partner.
It won't be. They won't let that happen.
I know, but I hope it is, though. That would be awesome. And if he's just I can do this by myself, just sit in the corner.
Yeah.
I don't, that's the only thing I could think of, because they are tag team partners in the Mixed Match Challenge, but...
Well, they were.
Well, they were, yeah. Can't they get voted back in or something? I don't know how that works.
No, they did that. That was this week.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Gotcha. But... what do people think? Elias is going to be his...
They think, the money's on Elias, and I mean,
Makes sense.
I think...
Did he destroy people this week? He destroyed the Rhino?
He destroyed Rhino, yeah.
Yeah. They're making him look real strong.
Yeah, well, I mean, he pulled down a wall. There's not a whole lot stronger he can look without winning a title. And
right. But, yeah, so it's not Elias. Who do you think would be... I saw some interesting news. Apparently, I was going to say Dean Malenko.
Dean Ambrose?
Dean Ambrose. Dean Malenko was pulled from his... Dean Ambrose was pulled from his, signing that weekend. And they put Ric Flair and Sting in his place.
Yeah, which to me is an upgrade of the highest caliber.
Of course.
I like Dean, don't get me wrong, but if you're you bought tickets to get Dean Ambrose autograph, how about you get Sting and Ric Flair's autographs instead? Yeah.
That's half of some people's Mount Rushmore,
Yeah,
wrestling.
Pretty much. Usually those things happen in reverse. It's
right.
We were supposed to have Sting, but something happened and he won't be here, so you get Dean Ambrose instead. And then, people show up anyway because they already bought the tickets, but they're not all that happy.
Exactly. Baron Corbin is going to be, yeah.
Oh
So,
God, don't it? Oh.
that's interesting because that would mean he's either going to work the show or like he's in rehab or something.
I think that he's in more rehab. I think something went. It's either going to be that he's going to be a surprise at some point during the show, and maybe cost Seth the Intercontinental title.
I hope, yeah.
Because I don't know where else he would fit.
What if he cost Roman the title? Wouldn't happen.
No, because Brock isn't advertised for anything after Mania.
That's true. Okay, so it's definitely going to Roman. We just gotta, I gotta accept that.
Unless he's gonna pop up in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Oh God!
Which
what
would
a waste.
It would be a waste of a return, really.
What a waste. I saw Mojo. He was like, "I'm gonna win for the second year in a row," and I'm like, "Oh no, it's not like something you put on." I don't know. Yeah. I guess you make best with what you got. So
yeah, because it's done so much for his career.
Yeah.
Just like it's done so much for Baron Corbin's career. Just like it did so much to revitalize Big Show's career.
Right. Well, at least with Big Show, he was a household name before it.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but like, what?
Like, people aren't going to remember him for that. People remember him for all the other cool things he did during, the Attitude Era and after.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the Big Show. What are you saying that for?
I like Big Show too, but I think
it's gonna be the last thing they remember him for, if that makes sense.
Right, but I mean, my thing is like the Battle Royal in and of itself, it means nothing. It's a great match, and it's a way for them to put Andre's name on something and have something else on the card. And maybe
they should make it a number one contender for the championship on Raw,
or something
like that.
You get to challenge for your show's mid card title or something.
Exactly, you pick the title, or whatever, like mid card title, exactly, number one contendership, bingo.
Yeah.
That would mean something. That would be like, okay, at the next pay-per-view they could do that or whatever,
Right.
And they have, that's the thing, they have so much talent that there's actually good talent in there,
Yeah, and it's just because it's a way, what that is a way to get more people on WrestleMania. Right. And I'm happy for everybody involved because they got to walk down that stage and get in that ring and say, I performed at WrestleMania, and that's a huge deal. Mm-hmm. It's a massive deal. But at the same token, you've got to kind of look at it and go, I walked down to that ring, and then I got thrown out and walked to the back, and it was on the pre-show. And so nobody saw it. Like, there was nobody even in the stadium yet because they forgot to unlock the doors.
That's true.
God, that was a disaster and a half.
Oh, wow.
Jeez. You remember that?
Wait, so what happened?
Oh, man, it was the Hardys and somebody against the Miztourage. It was the Hardys and Jason Jordan against the Miztourage, like back at SummerSlam, I think. And it was on the pre-show, and they hadn't opened the doors yet. But the show went on. Like, there was a time screw up, and they literally wrestled to like 3 people. And it was crazy. But I mean, that's the show. You do it. I mean, it was on the network and everything, and it was like, where in the hell is everybody?
So do you think Bray could be his partner?
No. I think they're going to say, I don't think Bray comes back yet. I think Bray gets a little time off and comes back with a whole new gimmick.
Well, he's been wrestling with Matt on...
it's house shows. House shows don't count.
Yeah, it's not canon.
Yeah, that's it. It's not canon.
He gets some time off to relax. And I guess he stays in that sphere with Matt and Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
I imagine he'll become the third Hardy boy.
He'll be another part of that broken universe, woken universe, whatever. It's a broken universe. I don't give a damn.
Since he's crazy as how he is now, what do you think he'd be woken? Just like totally normal?
I wonder if he would just be completely sane.
Yeah, that would be cool. A face, Bray Wyatt that's like compassionate and gives hugs and like is cheering on his partner.
Bailey Wyatt.
Yeah, I would totally root for that. Why not? I mean, they screwed the other version of him up so much. Why not give him a face run?
I mean, that's true, but I mean, you could argue that Bray was a face by default, really. For the last however long. I mean, when he won let's not forget, Bray Wyatt won the WWE title at Elimination Chamber last year.
That's true.
Like, I mean, it was a reign that lasted for a month, but like the pop for that win was massive.
What I see the problem is they're going to have the Miz have the Intercontinental for so long, and I want to see that one jump around too. It should be on Bray. It should be on Seth. It should be on a lot of people at this point. It should be on Elias. I think Elias should walk out of WrestleMania with that championship, but he's not even in the match.
No, they haven't said where he's going to be yet, because I do think he's going to be Braun's partner.
Right. It only makes sense because that's who the most time he spent with the last however many months.
Right. I mean, we've talked about this on the show, right? The whole idea of just like, oh, it's the bar 2.0 basically.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
But it'll be whatever. And they keep making. Do we not have singles matches anymore? Like everything that's not the women. Well, to be fair, I'll give them this. The major titles are singles matches. I'll give them that. The WWE title match is a singles match. Universe title is a singles match. Intercontinental title is not. The US title is not. But the women's titles are. Even the Cruiserweight Championship's a singles match. It's going to be a bummer to see that on the pre-show. So that's. I wonder what's going to be on the pre-show this year. It's going to be the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and.
They need to add women tag team championships on both shows.
The roster's not deep enough yet.
I don't know. I mean, I think it is.
Not yet.
There's so many that we don't see that they don't have on air. That's kind of what we don't even see Lana anymore, right?
Yeah, well, that's there is an issue of talent there.
Oh,
it's why we don't see Dana Brooke much.
We don't even really see Bayley that much anymore.
Well, we've been seeing Bayley a lot recently.
That's true. Yeah, they were doing their thing.
Yeah, you don't have. There's not enough talent yet.
Yeah.
And I mean that quantity-wise. There aren't enough actual. There aren't enough women on the roster to justify a tag division yet.
Right.
You could do that in NXT though. I think you could have women's tag titles in NXT.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they went with the NXT North American Championship instead. Go figure. A bizarre. It's just a weird title and a weird name.
Yeah. Did they show it yet?
You know what? I don't know. I just know it was announced. They didn't.
Oh, go ahead.
It was announced last week, but I don't know if it's been unveiled yet. It might not be till Takeover.
You know what would have been a cool women's match at WrestleMania if they would have somehow beefed Absolution with the Riot Squad?
Yeah, because I mean they're basically the same thing, but they'd have to get a third member for Absolution though.
That's true.
Yeah.
Have someone join them.
Yeah, well, they wanted Ronda Rousey. That didn't turn out so well.
Right.
Man, oh boy. I don't know. That's gonna be an interesting match.
Yeah.
That's gonna be big time make or break to see just where we are.
They're putting her out in the big.
I mean,
you can't get a bigger show for your first match.
No, you can't. But I mean, she's got the name for it. There's. It makes sense for it. Had it been somebody they just pulled up from NXT, it wouldn't have made sense.
The thing is, all of the things she's done and when she's gotten physical in the WWE, they all look great when she's doing all those moves.
Yeah, that's true.
So, it's the only thing that I've seen that she could do better on is her mic work, obviously. But when she's in there and she's throwing Triple H around and she's throwing Absolution around, it looks great.
Yeah.
But to do that for 8 minutes where you're bouncing off the ropes and you're telling the story and whatnot, that's different.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. She doesn't look weak or that it can easily look bad, and she doesn't make it look bad at all.
No, we've seen bad. Again, that's why we don't really see Dana Brooke much anymore. Because it was just bad, and that was terrible because she was actually built up really well in NXT, and then I don't know what happened with the transition to the main roster. I don't know what got lost.
Yeah.
But I would love to see her built up and then come back and really do something because she could.
Yeah.
She could, no question.
Absolutely.
But
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Did
It's
you?
gonna be interesting. I hope. Now I've got a question because I know we're gonna get. We're gonna get Undertaker John Cena at Mania.
Right.
You know it's gonna happen. My question is this: do you want Dead Man or American Badass?
Well, it's going to be American Badass.
And I really hope it is because I love the story of the Undertaker in the Old West cowboy persona died at WrestleMania. The
Right.
Undertaker in the undead druid I wear a hooded robe costume came out and did his speech at Raw 25. So now
He technically died at WrestleMania too. I liked the idea of both of them dying at WrestleMania.
and so now we don't have Undertaker the dead man. We have Undertaker the actual man.
American Badass.
Yes, the person, the as
Well,
close.
Kid Rock's going to sing his song when he comes out.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, he changed his profile picture on Facebook to the American Badass.
Who? Kid
So like
Rock?
it's the Undertaker. Mark, whatever is.
Undertaker's not on social media.
He's got an official Facebook page.
No, they're all fake. They have
Okay.
purposely kept him off of all that stuff for years.
No, he's not all off social media. Didn't John Cena make a point that he was on a video doing
On Michelle McCool on his wife's Instagram.
Yeah, but he's not off social media.
He is. Yeah, he doesn't have his own pages.
You're probably right.
He did, like, that was a big deal of the Undertaker doesn't have social media.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Michelle McCool posted some videos of him working out, but that was the call out. And that's why that's what we're going to see of, like, it's going to be as close to Mark Calloway as we're ever going to get in WWE is Biker Taker, basically.
Yeah. And I think they're going to do it. It makes sense. Kid Rock's going to be there singing, and they're going to do his song to the ring. It's going to be a thing,
and I like the idea of not showing it until the go home Raw, of like we have John Cena calling him out, and then next week he'll ride his bike down to the ring and he'll choke slam John Cena, and probably just pick up a microphone and say sure, and then that's it, and then there's the setup, and it's done.
Yeah.
I think that's the smart way to book it.
Yeah. I do too. Yep. The card's not bad. The card's actually pretty good for I think the only big problem this year for me is that we all know how the main event is going to happen.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Depending on whether or not they actually, and I am really hoping that they don't make that the actual main event. Like, I really hope that Roman Lesnar is not the last match of the night.
It should be AJ Nakamura.
It's supposed to be, man. The winner of the Royal Rumble goes on to main event WrestleMania. That's how it used to be, and then it wasn't for a very long time, and then it was just kind of whenever. And I I would even be okay if they did Undertaker John Cena last. I wouldn't hate that. I would hate Roman Lesnar going on last, because we all know how it's gonna turn out. But it should be Styles Nakamura, because it's going to be the best match of the night without question.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see in a week and a half. God, it's a week and a half till WrestleMania. Jesus.
Yeah. We're definitely on the road. We got some other bit of news here. Laura Kinney is also going to be in a series, X-23. She's leaving behind the Wolverine name.
Yeah, she's not going to be in the Wolverine comic anymore. It's going to be an X-23 comic.
That makes sense now that Wolverine's back.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Did you end up going to any Toys R Us's?
I did not. I may go buy one tomorrow, because the closest one I have here is by the theater job. I don't even know if they're going to have anything left anymore, because it's been a week. But
yeah, they start with the 10% off everything, and then in a week or two it'll be 25% off, and then after that it'll be like 50% off, because it'll be like the scraps, the bottom of the barrel, like a puzzle of I don't know, Togepi and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the one I went to. It was near Waterford. I went and got I don't know, I got slime stuff from my friend. She's into slime. All the kids are into slime these days for some reason. Making slime like gack and stuff like that. I don't know. It's a thing. But yeah, it was sad, going in there and being like, wow, like never. This is like the last big toy store.
Yeah, but there's a company that wants to change that.
Yeah, I saw they wanted to try and bring KB Toys back.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Toys R Us bought, like, the name and everything. Once KB Toys went out of business,
Right.
because of one of these venture capital firms, because they don't care about business, they care about making money for themselves.
Right.
The fact that it's a whole other story. But they had, like, come in and taken over KB Toys and just kind of ran it into the ground.
Right.
Which, to be fair, KB Toys was not doing well, and would have eventually itself run into the ground. They just kind of helped the process along. But Toys R Us bought, like, the naming rights and everything, the trademarks and all that stuff, and tried to run, like, their own little brand of, like, what they call KB Classics. Like, some toys weren't sold technically by Toys R Us, but under, like, the KB Classics brand of it. It was really weird, and they didn't do much with it, so a company called Strategic Marks LLC last year bought all those rights and everything because Toys R Us needed capital, and so they were selling off what they could, and this company is now saying, well, there are no toy stores anymore, and that sucks. There need to be toy stores. We've been working on trying to bring back KB Toys, and we've been planning and brainstorming things, but now, like, we just have to get our asses in gear and get to it. And the really cool thing was, not only are they kind of eyeing the closed Toys R Us locations as potential stores to reopen, but they are actively saying, if you're a Toys R Us employee, send us your resume.
Oh wow, that's cool.
They really want, like, this, and you can call it a publicity grab or whatever all you want.
I didn't know how real it was.
It's legit. Like, this is a company that's like, no, toy store. There need to be toy stores, and that's kind of at the heart of it. And to their credit, they are saying, if you worked at Toys R Us, send us your resume. Like, and they will go to the top of the pile. Like, they're legit about it. And
that's awesome. I want to see this work.
I do too, because I want to see KB Toys come back. Like,
Yeah.
I hope it works. I don't know if it will, because, nostalgia will only carry something so far. I don't know how to make a toy store make money anymore.
I always thought Toys R Us was too big. As an adult, as a kid, it was great. It was huge. But man, kids are playing too many video games these days, and, like, other things is occupying their time. So to have such a huge warehouse, it might be overkill. I thought they'd be better if it was a smaller, if the buildings were smaller, if that makes sense.
Well, and the other part of it is people don't buy, it's always been a kind of thing of, like, Walmart and Kmart have taken a chunk of that and everything, but it's been Amazon. It's been online retailers that have been selling the toys anymore.
They have, and like you said, we don't really want to really get into it too much because it gets very political with what happened about, but Toys R Us they were only in the black because of the debt that they were put into because of companies like Bain Capital.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they were very profitable the last few years, but their companies owed billions of dollars.
Yeah.
So if you have a company that doesn't owe billions of dollars every year, that comes in and can make a profit, because that's the thing, they were making a profit. It's not like no one went to Toys R Us's anymore. It was just less people went to Toys R Us's, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's sad. Definitely.
I think we see KB. I hope and pray we see KB Toys rise from the ashes of this.
Like, there's now a hole in the marketplace.
Yeah, and they're it's a thing of like, is this, and we'll see if this is something that's a lost cause or not. And it may well be. It may be that toy stores are anachronistic and they don't belong anymore.
I think a smaller store like a GameStop or something would just be more profitable because you just have less overhead and everything.
That's true.
But yeah, I could see stores popping up that are the size of GameStops where you go in, you have your video game systems, you have your toys, you got your new Legos, or like maybe double the size of GameStops, but the whole warehouse thing, it's like, oh my god.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you. I mean, KB Toys was always, I mean, that was its tagline, was the toy store in the mall.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
I mean, that's, and even then, it didn't quite, they didn't survive. But I think that's also partly because malls are not surviving.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's I don't know. But I'm with you. It could absolutely work if they didn't have, if you didn't walk into a Toys R Us and need a map. If you walk into KB Toys and need a map, you're in trouble.
Right.
Like
right.
that's I completely agree with you on that.
Yeah, and I always kind of skirted over to like the action figures anyways. Anything else in the store, I was like, well, it's all just big stuff I don't need.
Yeah. And have a hobby section too. I don't think there's not enough of that. Like have a section for remote control cars and models and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now that would be some cool stuff to pick up at Toys R Us. I know they have like model. I saw on Facebook some guy walked out with like a model USS Enterprise and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So.
I mean, because like they have, like, even if you go to Walmart and stuff, they have a little section of like model cars and all that kind of stuff. But I mean like a full on hobby section, model trains and and little like drones and all that stuff. Like, like
absolutely.
Like, make most of it a toy store and then like a third of it like the hobby section. I think that could totally work.
Some adult board games that are like, or like the tabletop games like that new Star Wars Legion and
there
stuff.
There you go. Now you're talking. Like that could absolutely work. You've got your Monopoly and your Jenga and all that stuff, and then over here you've got Ticket to Ride and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. Let's see here. What else we got here? We got the DT23 Expo 2019 will be held from August 23rd to the 25th.
Yeah, it's gonna be in Anaheim. So good for them.
Cool.
I that's great. I won't be going, but
right. So they're doing that next year. Are they also doing Star Wars Celebration next year? Because they're skipping this year.
Oh God, I don't know.
Man, why don't they space those out? It doesn't make any sense.
Let's talk to Disney about spacing things out. What does their release schedule look like for the next half a decade?
It doesn't make any sense. Like, do the D3 one year, and then the next year do the Star Wars, and then the following year do D3, and then the news space out, because this is August 23rd. What are they going to do? Celebration a few months ahead of that? Like,
I don't know, man. Do they have dates for that yet? I don't think they do.
I think they said they were going to skip a year, but that's it.
Right. No, I knew that.
Let's see here. We'll skip to next event 2019. Yeah, that's all it says. 2019.
That's all we got. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when was it last year? Wasn't it around that time? Like, wasn't it also like August?
Probably. Let me see here. Yeah, August 9th.
Oh, hell.
Yeah, it's that exact week. Or, yeah, that month.
Jeez.
I'm sorry, 13th through the 16th.
So when are they going to have... I don't even know.
Well, maybe this means they will do that in Anaheim, and maybe we get Celebration back in Orlando, which will be great for me. I would turn this boat around.
I would kind of be all right with that if they did it that way. Like you've got to pick a park. I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that.
Even though you'd think it would be in Anaheim because the Star Wars Land will be open first there next year. So.
Yeah.
Oh wait, is Star Wars Land opening next year?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, then it's going to be in Anaheim. Damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too... we'll see. Who knows? Disney doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah, let's take shots at Disney for not knowing what's happening.
So we're a little over with time, and we have a ton of reviews. What do you want to do? Do you want to catch them this week? Do you want to talk about them next week?
I'll tell you what, let's do, and we don't have to do it this week, but we could do like our own sort of review special, just because we have so many.
Okay.
There's just a ton.
Yeah, that absolutely works. So, we'll do that sometime within the next week or so. We'll pick a date. But yeah, I'm definitely down. Or maybe we just do it like a little bit before or after the next podcast. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. Let's just do a whole review thing where we talk about Star Wars Rebels, which is great, Annihilation, Jessica Jones, because by that time I'll see Jessica Jones. Probably won't see Tomb Raider, Wrinkle in Time, Love Sign, but I wouldn't mind you spoiling those at all.
Okay.
And Far Cry 5 and Sea of Thieves.
And I will have watched Krypton by then, and maybe some. I will try Altered Carbon tonight and see if it's something that like I can get into right now. If it's not, I'm not going to push it.
Yeah, no big deal. But cool. All right. Well, that sounds like a plan, and we'll post that up on our Facebook. Make sure you go to it and like and subscribe. Make sure you go to our Twitter at We Geek Podcast, at the Logan Witt, at Adam Estep. Make sure you go to our YouTube channel that we post the videos up there of our podcast every week. Make sure you give us a review on iTunes, and we'll be back next week. We'll be talking all about this stuff and more, and all the review. We'll have the review show up as well. Captain?
Captain.